Will millennials and Gen Z be able to retire? There's been a lot of talk about retirement and at what age like millennials and Gen Z will be able to retire because this kind of overwhelming fear I hear from a lot of these guys in these generation that I talk to is like, are we going to be working until we're like in our 90s and like dragging ourselves out of bed, trying not to break a hip, taking 40 medications, working as a Walmart greeter, or doing God knows what, but our bones are half dust, just so we can afford to live in our retirement village or whatever. I don't know, it kind of paints a grim picture, but I'm getting to that age now. I'm going to be 40 next year. I got to start thinking about retirement. I got some money in an IRA. I'm paying back some debt. I'm taking care of business in some ways. I'm trying to be somewhat smart with my money, but a lot of people just don't seem to be doing that kind of stuff. And a lot of people, you know, they're kind of spending, they're spending money in interesting ways, or they're doing other things. But I found this video kind of talking about it, how like some millennials are just not very taking this financial situation very seriously. But you also hear, let's just watch this video, and before I share any more thoughts, and it's a quick video from Financial Exchange Radio Show.
Millennials are reimagining retirement. This is a bit interesting to me, and I am hearing this a lot more frequently, saying that millennials in particular, but I think younger generations generally, saying that they really want to live in the moment, are less focused on the fully funded retirement, want to have a more adventurous lifestyle in retirement, and are willing to work longer in order to accomplish that. I'm not sure that I buy it. I hear people saying that. I do hear more people saying I'm living in the moment and I am willing to spend that money, because if not now, then when? Mm-hmm. But when it comes to, oh yeah, I know how I'm going to feel when I'm 70 years old and know what sort of lifestyle I'm going to have at that point of time, I bet there's a bunch of 70-year-olds listening right now who are saying, yeah, that's what I thought when I was 32 as well.
Yeah, a lot of people get scared too, because you hear these stories about these guys who retire. They work at a factory for 50 years, and they walk out when they're like 65. They have absolutely nothing to do, absolutely nothing going on in their lives. And they wind up dying of like a heart attack or like an embolism like 2 years after they quit or retire rather. And it just kind of sucks. You're barely able to enjoy your free time at all. But it's like the idea, like, what would you do if you no longer had to work? And some people say like the Dave Ramsey, Ben Shapiro is kind of this like conservative boomer kind of right-wing look at retirement. It's just like, you don't need to be retiring. Retiring at 65 is crazy. You got to keep working. You got to keep busy. Does work give you like a purpose in your life? A lot of like younger people would scoff at that kind of shit, but it's like a lot of people don't really have, I'm not naming any particular group here, but it's like some people just don't really have a life outside of work. It's usually people making a certain amount of money. Some people in lower income brackets, maybe they have a little bit more work-life freedom and whatnot, but some people, just like you're working in certain markets, certain sectors, and you're like devoted to the job 100%, working like 80, 90-hour weeks and shit, and you're just focused on getting to a point in your life where you no longer have to work, and it might take you decades. But some people just don't see it like that. But, with what these guys are saying, just basically as far as, millennials thinking about, retirement and whatnot, it's just, fuck it. I might not have a chance to retire, or I can take certain steps, now that maybe pay off later. But, like, what's the point, But, I don't know, maybe they got a point. I don't know.
So I just kind of call some BS on that one. Like, I don't think I have any idea what I'm actually going to want out of life when I am 30 years older than I am right now. And I think it's a little bit too early for me to even guess.
As you get older, your priorities shift, and it's hard to know ahead of time what those priorities are going to be at that point in time. When you were 15, what you were going to be doing at 35.
Yeah, that's the thing. when you think about this kind of stuff, like where do you envision yourself? Like 20 years ago, I was 19 years old in 2005. Things were a lot different back then. I didn't have a plan. I was taking classes part-time at community college. I didn't have a long-term plan. I was working as a paper boy, and then I did work for my buddy, like landscaping, like part-time. I was just flying by the seat of my pants. I was barely making any money. But the thing is, you gotta if you're a young guy out there, just getting out of high school or just getting out of college, you gotta get yourself working somehow. I mean, it's hard to say that kind of shit. You gotta have a solid life path forward. You can't just be like, fuck it, let the chips fall where they may. I don't care anyway. I'm this, I know understanding how you feel. I understand how people can feel disenfranchised and disillusioned by this capitalist system that we live in. But at the same time, it's like you have to have some kind of solid plan going forward in order to plan for a future for yourself. I mean, if I had done some planning back in 2005, I'd probably be better off than I am right now. If I'd actually followed through and, gotten a degree and didn't fuck around throughout my, 20s. But I'm looking at it now, it is what it is. But now I'm a successful YouTuber. But yeah, you have to have something. But just like now, I feel I fucked around in my 20s. I spent my 30s trying to get shit back on track. Now I'm paying back debt. I'm putting some money away. I'm doing what I can do. And there's some simple steps you can take. You can talk to a financial advisor. You can put some money in like the S&P index, S&P 500. You can get a 401k program started at work. You can see if your employee matches your 401k. You can make some contributions here and there under these plans. There's a million things you can do to kind of secure yourself a little bit of a future. Just 50 or $100. I don't know, maybe 10% of your income a month. You can invest that long term and you'd be probably sitting pretty. But that's what I was trying to do. But I mean, I got a little bit of a savings now. So am I going to be able to retire? I don't know. That's the thing. But I saw this article and it kind of made me think for a second, what's Gen Z's approach to this? Meet the Gen Zers maxing out their retirement savings. It's no longer chasing money, it's chasing time. In 2024, Gen Z workers are expected to outnumber baby boomers in the American labor force for the first time. But right now, the workforce's youngest generation, the oldest of whom are 27, is treated as novelty with everything from their email signatures to their salary. Expectations are put under the microscope. MSNBC Make It explores how Gen Zers are really putting their mark on career advice, office culture, and more. Lillian Zhang wasn't even out of college before she started planning for retirement. Zhang was 20 years old when she opened her first retirement account, a Roth IRA, after learning about them from Personal Finance YouTube channel. She maxed it out in 2 years using money from her savings and some of her internships. When she got a job after college, switched her focus to maxing out her 401k. Zhang, now 24, has six-figure stash across 3 different retirement funds. She recently opened a simplified employee pension and SCP IRA for her side hustle as a content creator. It's part of a growing class of Gen Z retirement super savers. It's better than my plan, begging people for fucking CashApp donations. Oh, there's the link, by the way, right here. Right. Yeah, where is it? I don't know. It's right there. But today's young professionals are prioritizing their golden years like never before. The average Gen Zer started saving for retirement age 22. Compared to millennials who started at 27, Gen Z Xers who started at 31, and baby boomers who started at 37. That's according to a January survey of 4,500 U.S. adults from Northwestern Mutual. So what's pushing young people to stash away money they can't touch for decades? Anxiety is one big driver. Many are concerned about stagnating wages and era of skyrocketing cost of living, says Paloma Thombley, Chief Human Resources Officer at Handshake, a jobs site for college students and new grads. Americans estimate they need to save $1.46 million to live comfortably in retirement, up 53% from 2020, according to Northwestern Mutual. Gen Zers are witnessing millennials before them struggle to conquer typical financial milestones like paying off student debt and buying a home. Others see their older family members struggling more than half the current college undergraduates either financially supported their parents or grandparents are expected to do so in the future, according to a December survey of 2,500 students from Handshake. Students of color in particular are more likely to carry this financial burden than white students. Meanwhile, Zhang, like many of her peers, isn't confident Social Security will be there by the time she reaches retirement age. Social Security's trust funds are projected to run out in 2035, at which point benefit cuts will happen unless Congress takes action. There's this idea that government is looking out for your retirement, so they have to do it yourself, Zhang says. If you're younger and relying on Social Security for a payment, I think that's really risky. So yeah, Gen Z are taking different approach to this kind of stuff. It's interesting to see this kind of attitude. It's refreshing to see young people, you hear a lot about doom spending and whatnot, people just blowing through their money because they just like figure, fuck it, I might as well live now, like the other guys were saying before. But, there are some responsible young people out there, and it's good to see. It's good to see. But let's get into this one. Why am I wearing these sunglasses? While boomers are unretiring, exhausted Gen Z and millennials are taking a micro-retirement from their careers. Taking a look at unretiring baby boomers and Gen Xers, already exhausted young adults are finding it may be time to reinvent the wheel. If the workforce is turning from sprint to marathon, young adults are set to react accordingly, pausing for little water breaks or vacations along the way. This phenomenon has been dubbed the micro-retirement by TikTok users, but it's essentially taking a sabbatical. So to take the year off, Anai, I don't know how to pronounce that name, felt she's never been better than while on her break, knowing she's well-rested and feeling healthier. Currently in the interview process of some top companies in tech, Felt 31 asserts that none of them seem to care about her taking micro-retirement, saying that she'd like to take one as well. I think our world is changing, and people like millennials who are in leadership roles are really starting to respect our need to take time off. Burnout fuels micro-retirement for young adults. Indeed, work seems to be taking a special toll on employees as of late. Just 50% of workers in Gallup that are thriving in their own lives, a record low since the polling service began surveying sentiment in 2009. Gallup notes that the reported rate of employees thriving started to decline in 2020 when the pandemic hit, dealing with waxing and then waning flexibility from employers likely led to a hit on well-being. Years later, malaise persists as burnout mentions on Glassdoor reviews reached a new high in 2024. Okay. Entering the workforce during this changing time, Gen Zers appear to be especially unhappy. One of the most underpaid in the office. The cohort was deemed the most stressed out generation by Cigna in 2023. Millennials, too, stepping into the often difficult role of middle manager, report high levels of burnout. Calling her strategy microdosing retirement, 30-year-old tech consultant and content creator Liz Lee says she knows she's not the only one terrified of going into an office every day until the age of 65 and having it fit a decade's worth of living in the time you have left. Well, she's not quitting her... Excuse me. I'm burping and coughing. Well, she's not quitting her job to take a break. She's changed her mindset to prioritize her mental health and personal interests, similar to a retiree, with the goals of enjoying life to the fullest while she's young and also saving for the future. Lee has even turned down promotion in order to maintain a better work-life balance. You realize you get outside your bubble. There's a lot of different ways to live life. Peter Ovendorf, one half of a young couple who quit their jobs to travel the world, told Fortune. Claire Zhu, his partner, began their journey when feeling burned out the finance gig in 2020 and taking note of the creators posting full-time travel content. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of these people, they're like young millennials, older Zoomers working in like finance. They have like really, well-paid tech jobs. They have big nest eggs saved up already. That one girl had 6 figures of retirement saved up before she was 24 because, I'm not saying, she doesn't deserve that or she didn't earn that or something like that, but everybody's situation is different, that might be fine for this girl, this 24-year-old professional girl. But when it comes to like your average slob, your average blue-collar slob, some guy with a couple kids living in a trailer, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? How much money are they putting away? You got to have to see it from a different perspective. But this here from Yahoo Finance, Yahoo's got some good articles on this stuff. I find that if you find an article that's paywalled, type the article's name into Yahoo, and they'll give you the article minus the paywall. That's how I found this article here. But Let's watch this video for a little bit.
For a young person today, I suggest really paying attention to how the government and government programs are your most important financial partner.
They are confident about taking on big societal problems, climate change, social justice, and they're not confident about taking on personal financial challenges.
Keep investing in yourself, because that will give you the greatest chance to create income that you'll need in order to save, perhaps, for your desired standard of living.
There are three main risk factors retirement experts are concerned about when planning for financial security: inflation, our lifespan, and market risk. With all three on the rise, millennials and Gen Z find themselves in an increasingly tough position when it comes to ensuring their financial stability later in life. So, Surya, I want to start with.
This is from over a year ago, so maybe not the most accurate right now, but I still think this has some good info in it. But we'll watch a few minutes of it, then we'll get into this article a little bit.
That says that 42% of people living paycheck to paycheck, 51% say they don't expect to do as well financially as their parents. Only 33% could handle an unexpected major expense. What is going to define retirement for millennials?
One of the things that jumped out at us during the study was what the young adults are confident about. They are confident about taking on big societal problems, climate change, social justice, and they're not confident about taking on personal financial challenges. If you think about agency, role modeling, ability to join a cause, all that exists.
Yeah, I'm not saying, look, I think Gen Z, the younger people's kind of attitudes towards working towards social justice and, trying to make the world a more charitable, equitable place, that's all well and good. I'm not saying that's bad or anything, but it's just like some days, it's like if you took some of that energy, if like you took the energy, being like an online activist and you applied it to another facet of your life, maybe you'd have some success. Maybe that's a cynical way of looking at it. Maybe it's a boomer way of looking at it, but it's just like some days I think about myself. I put it on myself. I spent a lot of time and a lot of energy online getting angry about shit I couldn't control. If I took some of that effort, all that time and energy I wasted getting angry on the internet and applied it to another facet of my life, taking more shit seriously and being more concerned about my future, I'd probably be in a much better spot than I am right now. I'm not doing too bad now, but I could be doing better. That's the thing. So you have to have some kind of balance, be aware of the world around you, but also like think of yourself like, hang on. But think of it as like an individual kind of sense, like what can I do to help myself so that in the future I'll have the means to help other people. That's what I'm trying to say.
On the social justice and climate change opportunities that they're involved in and gain confidence. Whereas on the personal financial side, lack of role models, lack of providing guidance and coaching. If we can increase the role modeling and the coaching and the confidence building on the young adults side, perhaps their confidence will improve there as well.
When you look at the 25-year-old who's trying to plan for retirement, so beyond the traditional, make sure you max out your 401k.
I mean, I think about the guys I work with. I'm not saying, like I said earlier, I don't begrudge any of these young millennial Gen Z professionals their success. But I think about the guys, like the blue-collar Zoomer people I work with, the people with the rusty-ass cars, the people with the child support payments, the people who can't afford to go to doctors and stuff. And I'm thinking, what's their future going to be like? Talking to some young social media influencer, that's one thing. Somebody who makes a living online, that's one thing, maybe one day I can be one of those people, but you gotta start thinking to yourself like, but I think you could still make little incremental changes here and there that can help you long term. And I know like some of the advice from guys like Dave Ramsey and like Caleb Hammer and stuff, maybe it's a little corny. People roll their eyes at it. They think like, I don't want to eat rice and beans and never spend any money. But, in some situations, I mean, if you don't start taking care of that now, like a lot of the guys I work with, they're in their mid to late 20s. If you don't start saving now, you're going to be fucked. Your kids are going to be fucked. You know, I hate to say it. I don't want them winding up like me. Basically, you know, don't fuck up like I did. Let's get into this article a little bit, though. According to experts, there are three main risk factors to consider when planning your future financial security: inflation, longevity, and market risk. All three on the rise, younger generations starting their retirement savings at a disadvantage. Many young people are lacking confidence in their ability to secure their financial future. According to a TIAA institute, only 40% of young people are saving for retirement, while 56% feel empowered to play a role in large societal issues like climate change and social justice. 2 out of 5 young people living paycheck to paycheck, and more than half the population do not expect to do as well financially as their parents. To help young people find solutions to build their retirement confidence, Yahoo Finance's Rachel Akufo sits down with some of the leading experts. Okay, there's a video transcript a little bit there, but yeah, this other article here, I'm running a little long here, but let's get into this a little bit. Millennials imagining retirement. The end game might not be sitting on my Adirondack chair. Oh, damn. Sorry. That was gross. I'm okay, believe me. By many measures, millennials are doing considerably well financially. Still, fewer young adults are thinking about retiring in the traditional sense one day. Retirement is becoming more deprioritized, said Michael Learsh, head of advice on planning at Wells Fargo. 10 or 15 years ago, that was always the number one goal, he said. Now, actually living one's life in the moment is a bigger priority. Although his cohort is very focused on building wealth, the end game might not be be no longer working and sitting on my Adirondack chair. He said that might not be it. More than 1/3, or 37% of Americans want a retirement plan that looks like different from their previous generations, according to the 2024 report. Most say that means most active, adventurous lifestyle, and 32% say they will never be able to fully retire, the report found. This contrasts sharply with retirement stereotypes of the past, where stability and relaxation were the primary goals, the report said. Millennial wealth in the U.S. has nearly quadrupled since 2019. That's pretty interesting. It sure doesn't feel like it, though. So we had 3.94 trillion to 16 trillion. What percentage of millennials does that represent, I wonder? Meanwhile, the median wealth of younger millennials and older Gen Zers, to those born in the 90s, more than quadrupled in recent years, according to analysis of 2022 data by St. Louis Federal Reserve. The number of millennials who were seven-figure retirement balance also jumped 400% in the third quarter of 2024 compared to a year earlier, according to data from the Fidelity Investments prepared for CNBC. Other generation millennials are also more likely to say that their income went up over the last few months, and they expect their earnings potential to increase again next year ahead, another report said by TransUnion. Collectively, millennials who now birth 15.95 trillion, up from 3.94 trillion 5 years earlier, according to the most recent Federal Reserve data as of the third quarter of 2024. A lot has changed for younger generations, said Brett House, an economics professor at Columbia Business School. What assets millennials have on hand, their relative financial stability, is determined by how they shape up against immediate needs, such as housing, down payments, or emergency medical payments, and their capacity to generate income to replace salaries and wages in retirement amidst the shift from defined benefit to defined contribution pensions, or the elimination of workplace pensions altogether, House said. Most younger adults are no longer getting pensions of this kind, so individuals who enter retirement age are now more dependent on personal savings and Social Security, he said. Yep. People are feeling the squeeze now. But let's end this video. Just this quick article about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence brings to life Gen Z and millennials. It's not a Hermdove video unless we talk about AI in some regard. Retirement dreams. Oh, here we go. Let's just watch the video. Oh, it's just stupid. Never mind. A striking 70% of Gen Z and millennials worry about being able to retire comfortably, and 69% anticipate working well past the retirement age, according to new research. Despite these concerns, younger Brits imagine a bold and vibrant retirement future powered by sustainable technology, eco-friendly communities, and high-tech innovations like virtual reality, movie marathons, and robotic assistants. Skipton Building Society has used its study as foundations for creating these AI-generated images to bring to life how younger generations envision their golden years. As expected, the research indicated that sustainability is a top priority for Gen Z and millennials, with 25% picturing eco-friendly ocean-based communities and homes powered by renewable energy. Modern conveniences like robotic assistants and automated lifestyles also feature prominently in their wish list. So basically just using AI to imagine you chilling in this garden with a VR headset on when you're like a robot or something. Interesting. Well, these visions are exciting. The financial reality paints a different picture according to the study. Many younger adults are still unprepared for their retirement years, with 31% feeling they are too young to worry about it, and 25% reporting they don't earn enough to save for later life. Currently, 34% of respondents admit they are focused on more immediate financial priorities, delaying any serious planning for retirement. However, the study did highlight some positive progress. 46% of participants are already managing their workplace pensions, and 43% have opened ISAs to save additional funds. Meanwhile, 36% are investing in stocks and shares, 20% are contributing to a lifetime ISA. Encouragingly, 60% of participants aim to increase their pension contributions for the next 5 years, hoping to benefit from increased income and compound interest. I thought this was going to be like some AI robot saving millennial retirement in the UK or some shit. But yeah, maybe a little bit goofy, but I'm going to end it there. What are your guys' thoughts on this kind of stuff? I read some stuff going back and forth just about, the various attitudes and discussions regarding retiring and whatnot. Are you thinking about this? I'm broke as shit. Even I'm planning on retiring, hopefully sometime before I'm 90. And with the possibility like, hey, maybe one day I'm too fat and sick to work. You never know. It could happen one day. I feel like shit right now. Fuck. But coughing and hacking all over the place. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate that. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about the video. If you want to toss me a few bucks, there's my Cash App down below. And that's it. I'm out. Talk to you guys later.
Ryan Little.